What are some plot holes so big you can drive a truck through? Snowpiercer. That track would have been absolutely ducked with no maintenance in -duck nose degrees. The rail companies in England can't even manage to run a full service when there's a wet leaf somewhere on the track. Madagascar. They give Marty the lion hell for eating animals. In the end, they give him sashimi as a substitute. What, in a world of talking animals, fish aren't considered animals too? Edit. I got my names wrong. Sorry, it's been ages. And I'm bad with names. Thanks for pointy. Mission Impossible 2. The guy is trying to create a cure to all flus. To do this he has to invent super duper flu. He does, and he invents a cure. Then they destroy the cure even though it cures all flus? WTF. In Season 2 of Dexter, Rita asks Dexter how he knew how much heroin to give her ex-husband, and deduces that Dexter himself is a heroin user. Dexter was top of his class in med school and is a forensics guy. I can't imagine it would be hard for a guy like that to figure it out. In Liar, Jennifer Tilly's character gets her way in the divorce despite cheating because she lied about her age, therefore making the prenup null and void. However, this would also nullify the entire marriage, entitling her to nothing. In Supernatural, it's mentioned that demons react negatively to the word Christo, but the word is never mentioned again after that episode. Line missing from Titanic, Bill Paxton. Hey, old lady. Do you know what happened to that diamond necklace you wore that I've spent a fortune searching for? In Now You See Me Too, why and how did the FBI have any jurisdiction in London? Wouldn't that be more of an Interpol thing? But character continuity, right? Ocean's 11. During the blackout scene, there is mad chaos in the casino. People stealing chips and just mass hysteria. Then the team goes to steal the money during the blackout. Afterwards, the lights are back on, and as they walk out of the casino, people in the background act like nothing has happened. No hysteria, just a normal casino with people gambling in a fun and jovial manner. Snow White. Why didn't the witch just stab her after she fell asleep? Terminator 1. The ducking Terminator grabs Sarah Connor by the shirt, but lets go of it. WTF was that? It's a ducking robot. As soon as it grabbed Sarah Connor's shirt, a ducking, don't let go ever, program should have started. If Doctor Strange could do that portal thingy for that epic entrance, what's up with him and Stark worrying about not being able to return to Earth while in orbit towards the planet where they fought Thanos? Bart said Santa's little helper didn't eat Milhouse's goldfish and that Milhouse never had a goldfish. Then why did he have the bowl, Bart? In The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, Imhotep steals body parts from the looters to put himself back together. At one point he takes the eyes from a person wearing glasses, so for the rest of the movie Imhotep should really be squinting at everyone. The parents deciding to each take one twin to raise on different continents and never talk to each other again. Any movie where a 1960s classic car driven by an amateur outruns a modern European police car driven by a trained pursuit driver. If Mulan got sent home for underperforming, there's no way her father would have been accepted for training in his condition. He would have been sent home with honor intact. I'd love to say something about Game of Thrones episode where they battle the army of the dead at Winterfell, like how they stationed the army outside the walls of the heavily armed fortress without anything to screen the approach of the dead army, or about how the artillery only had one shot before being useless, or about how ridiculous it is to charge light cavalry straight into a mass of infantry, the dead, when they are better at ambush and harassing the flanks warfare, or about how they wanted to draw the Night King and his dragon out, when the most effective way to do that would probably be to lay waste to his army with your dragons, or about the myriad of times a character looked to have certainly died fighting whites only for it to cut away and then we see them fine later with no explanation, or about how they decided to hide the women and children in the room with all the dead bodies when the enemy can raise the dead, or about how they hired a frigging sword-fighting martial arts expert to play the Night King only to never have him actually take part in single combat with anyone whatsoever. Like I said, I'd love to say something about that episode, but it was so dark I couldn't frigging see any of it, sorry. C-3PO, human-cyborg relations, is fluent in over 8 million forms of communication and, in fact, was built on Tatooine, yet doesn't speak Jawa. Every Christmas movie where no one believes in Santa but then it turns out Santa does exist. Like, who did they think was putting presents under the Christmas tree? If Santa is real then it wasn't them. When a bad guy is pushed into another bad guy and that's the two of them out of the fight. ATs only have a 60-degree firing radius on their front, so at the Battle of Hoth why did the rebels attack them with their snowspeeders from their front? Flank those bitches. In the final episode of GOT, Tyrion is put on trial for murder, yet this somehow turns into choosing the next king of Westeros. Imagine if during the O.J. Simpson trial, Simpson chose who the next president of the United States would be and everybody was okay with that. Shrek 2. How does a donkey duck a dragon? In every ducking action-adventure movie ever, extremely large and loud shit tends to sneak up on people. Helicopters, trucks, trains, dinosaurs, jets, tanks, speedboats, King Kong. The only stuff that should sneak up on you are bullets and explosions. Edit. I stand corrected. Apparently, tippy toes is a universal ability that serves to make any animate or inanimate object silent and undetectable. In Disney's Tangled, the mother kept Rapunzel's birthday the same, so the Festival of Lights always happened on her birthday. This led to her curiosity and her leaving. My biggest problem is with logistics in the movies. Like one of the Planet of the Apes sequels. The apes get attacked by the last of humanity, men using these attack helicopters. And I'm sitting there thinking, does anyone realize how many humans it takes to keep military helicopters flying? In every war movie a shell goes off 10 feet away from a soldier, he ducks and keeps running. In reality he'd be dead from the blast and shrapnel. In Threat Level Midnight, the president was a villain and in the end Michael Scarn go work for him again. WTF. Only flaw I can see in that masterpiece though. Not sure if it counts as a plot hole, but there's one scene in Spider-Man 3 that's never made any sense to me. Peter takes a small sample of the symbiote to one of his college professors so he can get a better idea of what it is. The professor looks at it under a microscope and says, "It's definitely alien. I wouldn't let any of this stuff touch you." That's it? Proof of alien life brought to you by one of your students and your only takeaway is, don't touch it? That's ducking insane. Where the duck did Goldblum get a MacBook to alien mothership adapter? In Us, when it explains that the government cloned everyone then gave up and just let these clones live underground in sewage tunnels for that long. Like, it makes no sense. If they did clone everyone, wouldn't they have at least disposed of them? Also, why are they in the sewers if it was an experiment? Plus, if everyone is eating those rabbits then there will not be that many. I don't know, that has always bothered me. Daenerys Targaryen forgetting about the Iron Fleet. I'll never understand the rush to finish that season. In Star Trek Into Darkness 2013, Khan turns out to be a _race genetically enhanced human with blood with regenerative healing powers, which they need to save Kirk. So they have this big battle on the ground in which they need Khan alive, but they could have just used the blood from any of the 75 other cryogenically frozen superhumans they had on the ship. Interstellar, they knew for 48 years that one of the planets orbited close enough to suffer time dilation effects, sent an astronaut there and then spent the next 12 years wondering why the astronaut sent there keeps turning their beacon on and off. In Black Panther, when he falls into the water, he gets pulled out by a fisherman from the northern tribe. Later on the movie, the leader of the tribe says that they are all vegetarians. They are also completely isolated, and don't trade. Why do they have a fisherman? I don't know if you could consider it a plot hole, but it always bugged me the way Tommy Boy ended. Rob Lowe gets arrested but the stepmom that married Big Tom gets to go to on a date with Zelinsky. She should have been arrested as well. I love Inception to death, but why didn't Dom's father just bring his kids to France? If Captain America uses a vibranium shield and it absorbs all vibrations, then how does he bounce it? If Buzz Lightyear thinks he's real and not a toy, then why is he motionless and pretending to not be alive, like all the other toys, when Andy plays with him. Wouldn't he think Andy is some sort of giant alien monster? Woody might have explained to him they need to remain still or something, but we never get an explanation.